I want to mention that ever since his beginning of his career, Russ has been incredibly clutch in big games and big moments. And it's also a pointer that Pete Carroll let him cook. On big games, he just let go of the leash, and it worked most of the time, as these numbers here show. So he beat Tom Brady 2012. He should have won at Atlanta in 2012 on the road. He had 445 yards and 3 touchdowns. That pick was a Hail Mary after the Legion of Boom let Matt Ryan go 50 yards in 2 plays and kick the game-winning field goal. And then he starts off the next year going 25 of 33 for 320 on the road against the 12-4 Panthers. Okay? So again, he's not accurate. He's not a pocket quarterback, Steve. He went 49 of 69 for 705.
What was the score to that game?
This one?
Yeah.
12-7, they won. He threw the game-winning pass. But here's the point, Steve. 40, look at these numbers.
That didn't look right.
40, I know. Wow, it was a field position game, and he got beat up. I watched that game.
Yeah.
Dude, he got beat up, and the announcers are like, yo, it's amazing what he's doing, getting all these shots. Bro, look at these passing numbers.
You know what the problem is, though? The total score. It makes the defense look better than it is.
But look at that. Look at those passing numbers while he got beat the hell up this game. So that's when right there I saw it, and I was like, no, that's an elite pocket quarterback. So then he wins the battle for the number 1 seed against Brees. He threw the game-winning touchdown pass against the 49ers, 50-yard strike perfectly. And then the Super Bowl, which we watched together, and with my buddy Eric, who said, Russ didn't do much. The defense carried him. Well, he had 27 points on 6 possessions. 27 points. The defense did the rest, and Percy Harvin's kick return. But I think 27 on 6 possessions is pretty good. I think that's an offensive-driven thing. It's not his fault that Peyton shit the bed.
Going from 2012 to 13, if you look at your description combined with the score, then this is what we were getting at. If you go back to the beginning of what some of the initial conversations were, the defense was that good. The scores stay low. The offense can still score. Why is it going into the following years and everything moving forward are we acting like the offense is anemic and can't and has to run the ball and you don't have a quarterback? Because you'll see as you go through, I'll point out at the end what ultimately happens.
Yeah. So again, he just has a knack for winning these big games. He won the rematch. He led the team down in overtime after, Pete tried to run past the ball the entire second half. Beat Peyton again. Then on the road, he wins, 427 yards, 3 touchdowns to win the division. And then plays amazing in the divisional round. Has a bad game against the Packers, but again, 2 or 3 of those balls were tipped off of Kearse's hands. He did not play well objectively, but then he became clutch. And what happened? Another 50-yard bomb right into a guy's lap to go to the Super Bowl. And then, of course, we got the Super Bowl, which we won't get into now. We'll have a whole episode on that play, all right? But the bottom line is prior to that pass, 30 of 45, 453, 6 rushes for 65 yards. That's 10 yards a play in the Super Bowl. That's Joe Montana numbers right there.
Yep.
Right? They should have just done a run pass option. I'll die on that hill forever. Now, 2015, he just dominated at the second half of the year, but then they had that ice bowl in Minnesota, and then the defense just fell apart. Everyone forgets this. The LOB just gives up a 66-yard run on the first play against Carolina, and they were down 31-0 at the half. No defense. Russ was bad, and then they almost came back and won. 2016, they beat the Patriots in the only game that the Patriots lost all year with Brady. That was the year Brady was suspended. So after that, they went 11-1 and then won the Super Bowl. The only game they lost was this one, and Russ, of course, dominated. And most of these are nighttime games too. Then rookie Deshaun Watson comes in, 482 yards, beats him. Then the Super Bowl champion, eventual Eagles come in, beats them. Then, according to reports that just got released, they were looking to draft Allen and Mahomes and possibly trading Wilson to a first-round pick. So that's really, he's clearly, obviously, very deserving of this right here. Now, here's where it gets really funny, and you're going to laugh.
God,
right?
Why couldn't that just happen?
All right, listen. Wait till you see this right here, okay? Yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, Russ, why are you signing? Especially After this game, he beats Mahomes in the primetime matchup, all right? That was the MVP Mahomes year, and he outplayed him. He made the huge plays in the fourth quarter, that incredible moon ball, some throws on the move, some runs. He was unbelievable. The next day, Steve, Pete Carroll got a contract extension. And I joked to my dad. I was like, yo, he's going to run, pass this whole season right into the ground. And guess what happened? He did. He literally had the Dallas Cowboy playoff game. He ran into a front seven all game. Russ was in a dome. He could have had 350 yards, 3-4 touchdowns. Okay. He signs a contract. That was his mistake. He made a mistake by signing that contract, in my humble opinion. All right. Now, I put these two games on here, 2019 and 2020, just to show you against the Rams and Patriots. Look at the scores of those games. They needed a missed field goal, and they needed Cam Newton to get stopped at the 1-yard line in both of these games. Now, look at his numbers. Look at his numbers. You can't play football any better than that. 12 yards a play, 4 or 5 touchdowns. It doesn't matter. The game still comes down to the wire. So that just shows you how much he was carrying them. And then, here's the kicker in the conspiracy. When he was on track, 28-06 and 29 touchdowns, even after that Bills game where he had 4 turnovers, it's all right. He's on pace for 58 touchdowns, 20 turnovers, and 12 wins. The next day, Pete Carroll got another contract extension. So Pete Carroll used Russell Wilson's best run, the let Russ cook, and the best game, arguably, the one against Mahomes, my favorite game of all time probably, to get his contract extension, and then basically pulled the reins back and said, this is my team.
Yep. So this chart explains this entire conversation. And that's what I interrupted you for when you got past 13 and told you when you get to the end. Here's the difference. So what's going on. The defense really was that good. The offense was better than given credit for, like we were talking about. Pete Carroll pats himself on the back, but not the offense. This is me and this defense. Watch me go. All he's doing is patting himself on the back, just like you said, to get paid on these 2 paydays, because that's the ultimate time to pat himself on the back again. Now watch what happens with 14. There's something else that starts to change, which again, you should, as an objective coach, looking at your team and trying to get better, you should have saw this coming. Wow, our offense was actually really, really good. It's as good as our defense. Let's start opening this up a little bit, because if you watch from all these games from 14 till the end, these games are now against better teams, acknowledging Seattle as a better team. And you'll notice outside, like in the first one, look, they're scoring a lot of points outside of that 112-7. Now, if the defense was giving up points, Russ is a better quarterback today and given credit for these wins. But because this precedent is set from 2012 till 2014 begins, now all of a sudden, nobody is actively acknowledging from this 2014 down to the 20, we're still scoring 30 points a game. Why is the other team scoring 30 points a game? The defense did not get better every year. It got worse. The offense has always been good. Look at the scores.
And he did it without great receivers and without a line.
It's the score on the right side of your score column that's getting higher every year if you pay attention.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, but you see when he just let him roll, even this one was the second half ordeal. When he just let him roll,
go back to the beginning. Look, 30 to 12. If the defense is good, Russ is fine. You just need a good defense. The defense never carried him. He was getting buckets from day one.